Hello, and welcome to the start of another weekly reading vlog. And this boy needed attention, so you get to see his beautiful face for a bit. Alright, so if you saw last week's vlog, you know that I'm currently reading The Dragon Reborn, and I'll have previous week's vlog up in the corner if you want to know any of my little Wheel of Time thoughts. But my goal is to finish that this week, and I think I can do it. I am a little, like 55% of the way in right now, and I'm really enjoying it, and part of me worries that I'm really enjoying it because it's been a very long time since I've had like a long chunk of Rand point of view. So for those who don't know, Rand is one of the characters in this story, and he was a major point of view in the first two books, and he really, I just found him bland and annoying. And I've really liked the other characters more, and we have been spending a lot of time with Egwene and Matt and Perrin, which Matt is my second least favorite character, but it's fine. He actually has some pretty interesting arcs happening right now, but having a good time and hoping to finish that. And I also started earlier today a man called Ove. I looked it up. I think it's Ove or Ova. Man, I have to look it up again. But it's not Ove. It's for sure not Ove. And I will say there are trigger warnings for this book that I was not aware of. Like, they don't trigger me, but if you do have trigger warnings, I would look into them. I don't want to bring them up because I don't want to spoil the plot. But if you're someone who does worry about that, I'm sure there are reviews out there, or if you comment below, I will answer them for you. I just don't want to spoil the premise of the book. But you have Ove, which when I first was told about this book, it's about an old, crotchety old man and neighbors move in and it changes his life. That's like the premise. And I thought, oh, he's like in his 60s or 70s. Now, this guy's like 59, which maybe it's because my parents are in their mid 50s. I just don't find that extremely old. But yeah, he has a very particular way he likes to live his life. He's very driven by routine, and yeah, his neighbors moving in really disrupt that. Also, he is handling grief. His wife passed away 6 months prior, and he has just been laid off from work. So, he's handling all of that, and he, definitely has some mental health stuff going on. It's it's very interesting, and the previous book I'd read by Backman was, oh, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, and that book was also about grief, but through the lens of I think an 8-year-old, she might have been 6. And I just think he does a really good job of bringing up these darker themes, of grief and loss, but in a way that I think is palatable. And also, I'm just like, I've been reading pretty slowly lately. I've read like already 100 pages this morning, so I feel like I'm gonna get through this early this week because this is my goal. These things are the last two books on my April TBR, so if I can finish them by Thursday, I'll have done it. Now, does it matter if I don't? No, but you will have seen my May TBR, and I have a lot of books that I want to get on there, and yeah. So these are my goals. In the next 3 days, I want to finish these two, and then we will see what I pick up after that. I have not put too much thought into it because I've got a good 400, 500 of pages to read in the next 3 days. But yeah, I will check in a bit. Hello! So I have finished A Man Called Ube, and it was good. I gave it 4 stars. It's my herbology book because it has an M on it, and it's great. I had a great time. There's a wonderful cat in it. My mom should have really told me about the cat when she gave it to me 4 years ago, because I would have probably read it sooner. It has a wonderful cat companionship relationship going on here. Actually, all of the relationships and how they develop are very feel-good movie-ish, and that's what I expected when I picked this up. And I'm not surprised because this was made into a movie, but I definitely got those vibes. And I kind of knew maybe what was going to happen, but I didn't care because it's what I wanted, if that makes sense. My friend Michael Nip, I'll link his channel below, he actually just had a video discussion on predictability and how sometimes that's not a bad thing, and I do agree that here, although I did kind of know what the beats would be, it was fine because I was kind of purposefully looking for that type of story when I picked this one up. Now, that said, I think I am going to now go into minor plot spoilers / discuss the trigger warning I mentioned in the previous clip, so I'm going to put a timestamp here, and you can come back after that, and I will keep talking for a few more seconds so you have a chance to mute or pause or whatever you need to do. All right, 3, 2, 1. You have a man whose wife recently passed away, and he's also got laid off from work because they basically put him into early retirement, even though he is only 59. So that's a little weird, but I don't know. And because he's lost the reason for living in both his work and, his partner, he proceeds to attempt to commit suicide throughout this book. And at first, I didn't mind it, but then I was unclear of if this was being handled well, if that makes sense. I'm not a person who has suicidal thoughts or ideation, so I do not relate to it. But I didn't feel like this book helped me feel or understand how someone who has these experiences goes through it. So I have no idea if this is a good representation. And I looked up reviews and I was trying to find interviews to see what research went into this story, like what inspired it. Is this a common thing? I don't really know. And I really couldn't find anything. So if you have read this, if you have had similar thoughts or experiences but have answers, please let me know, because I am really curious about it. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was done horrendously. Otherwise, I'd give it a much lower rating. But I think that was why it's a 4 and not a 5. Is I just thought that this formulaic portion of the book was it flirted the line with being unrealistic, and I just don't like suspending belief with a topic this heavy. I might have not had these type of thoughts in my life, but I've had many friends who have had, and I just don't like seeing that topic not handled well. So I'm just curious about it, and that's what stopped it from being a 5-star, I feel, because I otherwise loved the writing style and the characters and had a great time. All right, so that is it for Man Called Uwe Thoughts. And I am still working on the Dragon Reborn. I do not think I will finish it today like planned, but I only have 140 pages left, so probably by tomorrow morning. So I'm still gonna put it in the April wrap up because it's my channel, my rules. And I know I've had kind of reservations in my previous vlog or clips about it, but this book is actually really good. Like, I don't think it'll be 5 stars, but the other books have been like 3.5 or low 4s, and this is like a solid 4 to like a higher 4, because, well, A, Rand's not around really. B, what they're doing with Rand I find super like actually intriguing, because I kind of knew it would happen, but like I was like, oh, we're committing. That's nice. It's one of those. I don't think I've seen this done super well before, so I'm hoping it is done well. And then we have this other cast of characters that we've had since book 1 who are getting some really cool plot arcs. We're being introduced to characters that I'm excited about, and maybe I'm starting to see what everyone loves about what Jordan does and what people love about these characters. That's a well-loved world and characters. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, I still, I want to cut off Nieve's hair. Yeah. So does Stephanie, though, so I'm not alone. Stephanie's from Miss Richards Reads. It's who I'm buddy reading this with. Yeah. And also, shout out to Jade from Bedtime Bookworm, because I could not remember a scene at the end of The Great Hunt, but I didn't want to Google it because I don't own the book, because I didn't want spoilers. So I was like, hey, how did this happen? Because all I remember is this. And she, wrote me so many things and helped me so much. And just, the Wheel of Time community has so many gems out there, and I appreciate them for, helping me enjoy the series as much as, or at least 75% of how much they did. So yeah. But yeah, that's check-in. Tonight I get to do my Zoom game night with my family, which is pretty fun. Plus we're celebrating my brother's birthday, and that'll be nice. So yeah, otherwise I will pop back in when I have finished the Dragon Reborn, which is hopefully soon, because I have so many books I'm excited to get to. You'll have seen my May TBR before it goes up tomorrow, but I am pretty pumped about May. Alright, so it's technically May 1st, but this morning I did finish The Dragon Reborn, and it is my favorite so far. Although, I don't love how each of these books end. It always, well, so far, 3 books out of 14, I feel like things will change. but the big climactic end scene is always kind of lackluster to me. I don't know why, but it's also, especially since I was like, oh, and I like kind of predicted like, and now we're going to get into this part because this is how it always ends with this character having to do this type of thing. And I guess I don't mind that it's predictable, but I don't know. I found myself wanting to just finish it when I was in the last 20 pages. Like, not that I was as invested as I was like 20 pages before that. So I just felt like the ending was like only okay. But the book itself, like the whole journey, was much more enjoyable than previous books for me. So yay! Now to get into my May TBR, which includes The Memory Police, which I'm reading for both Bookamon and Asian Readathon. It's by Yoko Ogawa, and it's translated. I think she's a Japanese author. Yes. Has won every major Japanese literary award. Apparently, she's a big deal. Didn't know that. But this is my boyfriend's copy, and it's very pretty. I actually like it inside more. I like simple looks, and I don't know, I think this is pretty. But yeah, so I'm going to pick that up next. And I'm also reading Scythe with Jade Bedtime Bookworm, so that's exciting. I wasn't expecting a buddy read, but I'll take it. That's fun. So I'm reading both of those, and then so my mom's awesome, and she sent me like a care package, and she made me wait to open it till our like family Zoom session. And I guess if you're new here, or if I haven't said it, I love The Lion King. I mean, that back there is my cap that my brother painted for me for my graduation. It is Simba from The Lion King, and my mom bought me this really awesome tumbler thing, and like it's very much on brand for me, and I love it so much. I haven't used it yet because like I'm still just like staring at it, but I mean I love the colors, and yeah, also it's really big, which is nice because I normally drink out of this cup, and this is like not quite as big probably, but it's comparable. So yeah, pretty happy about it. So yeah, that's my updates. It's the start of more readathons, but I'm just happy to be reading more books, and yeah, that's where I'm at. And I will check in once I've gotten further in Scythe or Memory Police. So it's been a few days. It's Sunday, and I am really enjoying what I'm reading, but I'm also kind of a little all over the place. Kind of because I'm doing buddy reads, and I find that kind of switches up how I read. So I'm reading Scythe, and I'm really enjoying it, but I'm buddy reading that with Jade at Bedtime Bookworm, so we're only reading certain segments a day, so I'm trying really hard not to just like blow through and go ahead, but this is a real fun dystopian world for me. I'm having a really good time with the concepts. I'm enjoying the characters. The characters are actually really similar to me as the character dynamics between the male and female in Renegades, which I liked that, except this female I don't find as frustrating as Nova and Renegades, so that's always a plus. Although, she still seems to have this like chip on her shoulder, kind of similar to Nova, but I don't have it as explained to me, which I hope it does eventually because she's kind of weird. But yeah, so been starting that, enjoying that, only 30% of the way through. I've also made really good progress on The Memory Police. I'm 50%, yeah, of the way through this guy, and it's really cool. So this book was originally written in 1994. It was translated, I think, either this year or last year, and it has really cool 1984 vibes. In the sense that our main character is in this dystopian world with an authoritarian police presence, but they're not particularly special per se. Like they live on this island where all people will lose something, like a memory will be lost. Like, for example, birds will suddenly no longer be a part of the island, all memories of birds will go away. But there are some people who keep the memories. But our main character is not one of those peoples, which is why I'm comparing it to like those dystopians where you have like the normal person having to go through it. Although this normal person does make themselves involved, they are connected to some people who do have this problem. And it's really interesting, and I really couldn't have told you it was translated, and unless you told me. And yeah, I'm having a good time with it. I do think the boyfriend and I will do like a discussion review chat thing on this book, since it's one we've both read and both have thoughts on. Although it is really hard not to just talk with him all the time about it, because it's rare that we're both reading a book close to each other. Like, we have shared books, but I mean, he just finished this 2 weeks ago, so that's really cool. And on that note, he also read Exhalation beginning of last month. I think he finished it. And so this is a short story collection I've been wanting to read, and it also works for the Asian Readathon. So although it wasn't on my TBR, I think I might make this the month of short story collections. I have a lot of them that I want to get to. I'm starting actually, though, although I've been holding this, with Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen. I don't remember her last name, but I read the first short story tonight, and whoa, that was something. It was called Husband Stitches, and it was really interesting. I'm still sitting with it, but it was, I mean, I think the moral of it is obvious, but also there's a lot to unpack for me there. I'm really interested because I really had like no expectations going into this short story collection. I mean, it's one of those things where representation still needs to, it still has some work to be done in, at least for sure, adult speculative fiction. In that, when I ask my bookstore, hey, what's some adult Latin, author works in fantasy, they gave me this book, which is definitely going to have some mystical elements to it. I mean, this story didn't really have much at all. It was very loose, but it is not like, it's not speculative fiction in the same way as Gods of Jade and Shadow or other works like that. So yeah, but I am still enjoying it, and so yeah, I think if I end up reading all the short story collections I want to read, they might get their own wrap up, because I feel like they deserve more time. And I don't know, it's something I've not done before, and I'm really enjoying getting like these little snippets of thoughts a day in addition to these other books I pick up. So yeah, I'm like all over the place, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing, which is I think what's important. Also, Mission Impossible 2 is a YA movie, and it's wonderful. There is so much angst in that romance. It's wonderful. And by wonderful, I mean kind of 2000 action movie trash, but I had a great time watching it this weekend. I also watched the first Mission Impossible, but I didn't like that one as much. Oh, but Mission Impossible 2 also fails in like every regard in terms of the Bechdel test, and even just having more than one female character. But that female character was Maeve from Westworld, and I'm about it. Also, Ford was there from Westworld, Anthony Hopkins, so really it's just like a prequel to Westworld. Yeah, that's has no bearing here, but that's my weekend really in a nutshell. It's just a blob, really. So yeah, and it's really warm. That's why I'm in a tank top. It's like 75 degrees in Boston, which, if it stays that way, I'm all about it. I'm more just worried about the temperature dropping, but then my heater never turns on again because I live in an apartment. So then it's just cold. And that happens. So yeah, long check-in. Well, I have short check-ins. See you guys in a bit. It is time to wrap up this vlog because I need to take my contacts out because my eyes are dying. But I finished The Memory Police, and I have a lot of thoughts, and I'm really glad my boyfriend and I are going to unpack them, because I don't think this is like my favorite dystopian sci-fi, but I really liked reading it. I don't know, like, it doesn't have the intense pacing you get from a lot of dystopians. Like, I don't think I ever personally felt the tension or fear, but at the same time, it's like a real slow burn, like, fear thing. I don't know how to describe what happened in this book yet, because I just finished it. But I can say I really liked the time I spent with it. I do think, I am glad my boyfriend mentioned that he at first was upset with the ending because he didn't get an answer to one of his questions. And I pretty much guessed what he didn't get an answer to going in. I don't know if I want to mention that yet, so I'm going to be vague for now. But because I kind of knew that this would be more of like the open-ended sci-fi, then I was prepared for that, so I wasn't let down. I was more enjoying the journey and everything. I wasn't as searching for an answer. Sometimes you read a story and you're always searching. Well, I wasn't that way with this one. So yeah, also this cover, I don't think I've shown you the actual sleeve, but this cover is so accurate what happens in this book once you like read a certain section. Like, oh, that's why it's that way. So that's like, it's really cool when a cover really represents like a book. Yeah, I would be very intrigued to read more works by this author. They had a few written, so I might try and see if there's sort of, I can get my hands on any of them. And yeah, in other news, we're still reading Scythe. Finished part 2 today, and whoa. I'm really glad I am buddy reading this with Jade because I finished that section. I went on the Voxer app we're using, and I was like, so yeah, that just happened. What? Like it was literally like 4 chapters where it was like a big plot thing happened after another. And I mean, one of them I kind of saw coming, but it didn't really make it less dramatic to me because they're still like, now I want to know what's going to happen in part 3 because our situation has evolved. So yeah, excited to continue that. So that's where I am with Scythe at the end of this week, so about 40%. And then I read another short story, and I was watching Books Like Woe's sci-fi challenge vlog, and I kind of like how she's doing that challenge to like understand her vocabulary with a genre that she doesn't feel like she's as well versed in. And I feel like that's how I am with short fiction, or maybe that's a lot of people, because I don't know what I want from short fiction because I don't read a lot of short fiction, but I do have like 4 short fiction collections I want to read this month. So I'm thinking about doing them all either in a vlog style or in a wrap up. But I don't know. I did read the second short story today from Her Body and Other Parties, and that story was way too close to home. Like, whoa. Like, look. In terms of like a woman going through a pandemic, I was like, did you predict the future? Like, I got through it. It wasn't that long, and I don't think I was scarred or anything, but I was just, it's always disconcerting when you read a more sci-fi piece and it's like close to your reality. It's just always a little weird. But I mean, for me, that's 2 for 2 where I've really been engrossed in a story, and I actually went back and looked back at some research for husband stitch, which I learned what a husband stitch is, and that's disturbing. If you don't know, you can look it up. I'm not gonna talk about it. It's just gross. But and I just looked more into like the analysis because I think what's cool about short stories is that the structure of them can be so unique and varied because of the inherent shortness of it. So, yeah, I think that's something I really enjoy. And I'm also more likely to think about them and analyze them more because they're shorter. And I kind of miss that part of literature class to some extent. So I don't know what I'm doing on this journey. I don't know if you're going to see another video that's just dedicated to them or not. I gotta let that spin around in my brain, but having a great time there. And I'll talk about this more in my next vlog because it's the end of the week. Well, it's the beginning of the week, but it's the end of this week's vlog. But I did start Dune today, and Dune's still good for me, guys. I was worried that I like misremembered it being good, but I was like, no, wait, was it good? Everyone's like it's not good, but I thought I liked it. And yeah, nope, I still like it and it still works with my brain. It's just so good. I don't know, it reads like it could have come out like 5 years ago, but it came out in 65, so I don't know. So yeah, oh, audiobook was Before They Are Hanged, and I almost made it to the end of part 1 today, but I got distracted because someone challenged me in a lip sync battle for books, and so when I'm on my walks, I've been trying to listen to music and think of what books go with which songs because it's actually really fun. But I don't listen to music as much at home, so it's taking up some of my audio time on my walks. But it's still really good. I think we've had some really fascinating discussions about war and conquest and colonizing that just came up. That was really cool. I think that some of these like heavier political topics are approached pretty well in these books. Yeah, that's really all I got. I mean, I still like the characters. If you like The Blade itself, you will like this book. If you don't know if you like The Blade itself, there are so many reviews on it in the world. I have a discussion review with Ramsey, but that's very spoiler filled. In general, I think that if you like grimdark and character driven stories, you should for sure give it a go because he is pretty much the master of it. I mean, if you like A Song of Ice and Fire, I feel like you will like these books, at least. So far, that Venn diagram has had a very large overlap. And that is the end of this vlog, and I don't know how much cat content you've gotten, but if it's short, I do have a video clip of my cats being cute, so I'll probably try and be a real vlogger and sneak that in somewhere with some atmospheric music. I don't know. We'll see how tired I am as I edit this. Oh, speaking of which, here he is. You can say hi to a cat before the end of this vlog. So yeah, here he is, saying hi. And I hope you guys have had a wonderful week and have read some fun stuff and are, I don't know, meeting whatever goals you set, even if that goal is just to do dishes, because let me tell you, sometimes that's just my goal. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.